Thank you for having me. We're excited at Stratasys because we're announcing today a strategy how we're investing heavily in software as part of our overall solution strategy with the goal of providing the best professional 3D printing experience that we can. Over the next 20 minutes, I'd like to give you some context on some disruptions that are happening in manufacturing and explain how Stratasys will continue its leadership role in introducing new hardware systems, new materials, and software as a key component of that overall strategy. So to get started, what I'd like to do, just make sure we're going, is let's look at the next big disruptions coming to manufacturing. Disruptions caused by what the World Economic Forum called the Fourth Industrial Revolution are changing manufacturing in ways like never before. This revolution will change how products are brought to market and how they're launched, and software is a key component to that transformation. A few of those disruptions that I think are relative to 3D printing I want to point out here today. The first has to do with digital product definition, whether it's physical parts or even body parts, and how the digital product definition is linked to manufacturing is going to create new, exciting opportunities for highly customized quality parts that are 3D printed. The second disruption, the unlimited availability of connected machines, CPU, and disk storage will provide the ability to make decisions like never before. And the third disruption that I'd like to talk about has to do with the way humans interact with machines. We're no longer limited to needing a desktop dedicated server with a Windows environment, for example, and specialized software in order to interact with machines. We have the ability to use mobile devices and touchpads and things like that. However, with those three disruptions that are coming, when you look at additive manufacturing, there's currently some limitations in our industry. The reality is what you see on a computer screen in CAD is not what comes off the printer. Machines aren't connected nearly as much as they should be, and they're not consistent in the information that they deliver to the end users. And lastly, as it relates to accessibility and the human-machine interface, it's estimated there's over 3 million CAD users in the world today, and when you add additional apps like scanning, medical apps, for example, 3D printing is just too hard. It's not accessible enough to enough people, and we've got to solve that problem. Let me give you some examples to back that up. On the left-hand side of the screen here, you can see a nice design of a shoe. It was modeled in CAD. It's got colors, textures, precise geometry. It looks like what I'd want to wear. Unfortunately, the first step when we go to additive manufacturing is we export an STL file. On the right, it kind of looks right, except it's missing its color and texture. When you zoom in, however, even that precise geometry that was originally in the CAD file is now gone. All you have are faceted triangles. And zoom in a little bit further on that shoelace hole. This is a little bit exaggerated, but you get the point. We start in the hole immediately with additive manufacturing by going from CAD to an STL file. While other parts of manufacturing have evolved over the last 30 years to take advantage of CAD data directly, to generate machine strategies directly from the model, additive manufacturing has not. And we need to change that and get beyond the gap of what you see on the design screen is what you get off the printer. Now, fortunately, Stratasys has recognized this, and Todd talked a little bit about the J750, so I just want to use that as an example of realism and the digital to physical connection. The J750 is a full-color printer. With the J750, we can leverage now color and texture, and with an unlimited color palette, we can print realistic parts using software to transform from the digital to the physical. In fact, because software can automatically now transform from the digital model to the printer, we can explore design alternatives in an unlimited way. And with the J750's multiple materials, we've opened up additive manufacturing to new industries or expanded the scope in existing industries. For example, in medical device surgical planning or education. But we're not done in the way of realism. I'll talk about some of the additional things that we're going to do with software and 3D printing in a couple of minutes. So let's talk about the second disruption, which has to do with connectivity. The slide I did have here would illustrate kind of the results that we get when we survey customers in this industry. When you ask them how connected is their infrastructure to support additive manufacturing, it's very typical. You'll still hear that files are emailed, FTP'd, or even sneaker netted to the printer from design. You'll hear that business intelligence actually consists of Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. You'll hear that large companies invest a lot of money in developing custom software tools just so that they can connect the various pieces of their additive manufacturing enterprise. And small companies do without. And finally, even to get status on a printer, what we find is that people still have to get in their cars and drive to work on the weekend just to check on job status. So we're not connected to the level that we need to be at this point. On the topic of accessibility, the third major disruption, there's just too many steps between the 3D content author and the 3D printer. We start in CAD, as I said, by exporting an STL file. And then we fix the STL file. And then depending on the technology that you're trying to print to, you have to know a different tool depending on the printer. And finally, with the printers' lack of consistency in the kind of information they share, it's difficult to know resource availability for job planning. In fact, when you put it all together, it kind of looks like this. Too many systems to deal with, not enough connectivity, too many compromises. Which is why we're really excited today to announce GrabCAD Print from Stratasys. Our industry needs to evolve if we're going to continue to push the limits of additive manufacturing into manufacturing. We need to address the issues of realism, connectivity, and accessibility if we're going to drive broad adoption. We need to revolutionize how 3D printing is done. Some of the key features of GrabCAD Print, which we're announcing today. First, the ability to read CAD files natively. And then, regardless of the technology from Stratasys that you're trying to run your jobs on, universal printer preparation. One tool can print to any Stratasys device. Built on a SaaS platform with tools to track application and printer behavior, collaboration and business intelligence are built into the GrabCAD platform. GrabCAD is accessible by way of desktop, mobile, and web applications. And finally, we've architected the platform to be open to partners. Initially, we're focusing on the design to print workflow, and we're partnering with industry leaders including Dassault Systems SolidWorks, PTC, and Siemens PLM. GrabCAD Print has been available privately since the beginning of the year to some of our key customers, and we're launching it this summer to the public market in North America as beta, and will continue throughout the course of the year to enhance the product and launch it worldwide. It's our aim and our intent as we move forward at Stratasys to solve the issues of realism, connectivity, and accessibility. Now, GrabCAD may sound a little unfamiliar to you coming from a Stratasys presentation, so let me give you a little background on the GrabCAD platform. GrabCAD was acquired by Stratasys in 2014, originally as a private company, It was intended to be a community for professional engineers, designers, and students, where they would share CAD files, participate in design challenges, and share best practices. Since the acquisition, we've grown that community to over 3 million users, and we're transforming it from simply being a design community to a digital design and manufacturing hub for all content. GrabCAD Workbench was the first app built for the community, and the goal of Workbench is for project teams to share design files with other team members in a SaaS environment. We're expanding the scope of Workbench to be the basis for the workflow that supports the transformation of digital content into the 3D print workflow. And the first of what we hope to be many applications introduced by Stratasys on the GrabCAD platform is GrabCAD Print, focused on transforming 3D content to the printer. Let me give you some details on what GrabCAD Print looks like. Let's start with GrabCAD Print and realism. Let's assume you need a file printed from your CAD system. You can. Perhaps you have an STL file that's missing some triangles and you need to repair it. With GrabCAD Print, you can. Assume you have a colored, textured VRML model that you need printed for your next client design review. With the J750 and GrabCAD Print, you can now print that directly. As I said earlier, on the topic of realism, we're working closely with the leaders in the CAD industry to improve the state of the art as it comes to dealing with 3D content on 3D printers. That includes PTC, Dassault System SolidWorks, and Siemens PLM. Let's talk about connectivity. If you're running a model shop, GrabCAD Print provides you with a schedule view of all the printers on your network and the current status. If you don't have access to an office printer, but you need something printed somewhere in the organization, you can use the GrabCAD Workbench to notify the model shop and share your files securely with the model shop operator. As the shop operator, you can consolidate multiple requests into a single print tray, and based on schedule availability, submit your job. And when management asks you for reports on usage, GrabCAD Print can provide them automatically. And finally, accessibility and the human interface. It's a Friday night, you have a 12-hour job that you need to run over the weekend, but you have plans over the weekend. Not a problem. With GrabCAD Print and the mobile app, you can check in on your printers at any time to get the material status and how the print job is running. Realistic, connected, accessible. With GrabCAD Print, Stratasys is transforming the way 3D printing is done. Come see us in booth 611, and thank you for your time.